Young Life was founded in 1941 in Gainesville, Texas, by Jim Rayburn, a young youth leader who, with the help of 4 seminarians, started a weekly club for high school students. It came to Canada in 1954, and I think the best credential of this ministry is in the number of young people who choose to give leadership because of the way their lives were impacted by Young Life. David Thacker is one of them, Vice President of Young Life of Canada, in charge of the Eastern Division. He's not a new face to me. My husband and I have been supporters of Young Life in this area for years. And David, I think the last time I saw you, because we missed the last dessert event, was in a beautiful country property with a group of people, students and leaders, and you spoke there.
Absolutely. Vic N's barn.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Well, you yourself are just a great testimony of what Young Life is all about. It was a life ring for you.
Sure, absolutely. I was a high school kid growing up in Calgary. We'd moved from Africa, where I was born, in 1968, came to Canada, and classic immigrant family, Indian family. School and academics was a big part of our life. 2 doctors as parents, and it was a tough era growing up in Western Canada in the 70s. In the 1980, my mom had become a Christian, and the church she was going to had some Young Life leaders at it, and she was invited to go to our Young Life camp Malibu as the doctor. And so she asked my brother and I, my younger brother Michael and I, if we wanted to go, and we said not a chance. And so she went, we stayed home, and she came back with these photos and told us that this was an unbelievable place and we needed to check it out. So the fall year of grade 12, 1980, my mom sent my brother and I to a Young Life club. We didn't have it at our school, so we went to the Lord Beaverbrook Club in Calgary. And when you're 15 years old, 16 years old, and walking into a room where you know nobody, the fear and will I be accepted, will I fit? And I remember walking downstairs similar to this into a basement. And when you come around the corner, those last 3 steps of everyone is going to see me, what is this going to be like? And I think those last 3 steps led to my life changing.
Did
all
you
these years later.
Feel instant acceptance, safety?
I was afraid. Like, I thought, where am I going? We come into this room, probably 40 kids, sitting on the floor. And I remember this Young Life leader, Jack, coming up and saying hello to me. First thing, he came up and welcomed me to this. And we came in not knowing what we'd going to expect. We'd gone to church growing up a little bit. But I remember sitting there for that. It was a 1-hour event in some kid's home. And when we left, my brother and I said, we're going back. This was so much fun. We laughed, we had fun. And the guy, the Young Life leader who spoke at the end of the night, talked about Jesus Christ in a way that I'd never heard. And we wanted to go back. And so we went back all through that year. And in that summer of 1981, we went back to Camp Malibu. Both my parents came as the doctors that year. So that's my story in high school.
Wonderful.
And we met that summer as a camper, met Christ as a 16-year-old and graduated young, and then moved up to Edmonton to go to University of Alberta to pursue medical studies. And Young Life was just starting in Edmonton at the time, and so got involved as a volunteer leader while going to school and working in a club at Harry Ainley High School in Edmonton. And then in 1988, God changed my heart, and moved on from going to medical school to going on Young Life staff. So I moved back to Calgary and have worked with Young Life since 1988.
Wow, see, there it is. I have a brother-in-law in Connecticut who lost his dad as a young man, and just a young boy, got involved with Young Life, came to Christ, and he's on the Atlantic board down there.
Really?
I mean, there's something about this. And I don't know if you can pinpoint, you talk about those last 3 steps. I mean, I think I know what the answer is, but what would you say is the difference between that experience and walking into your school, where racism and other pressures were making life very difficult?
I think the biggest thing for a teenager is, even far more before believing, is just a sense of belonging. Do I fit? Will someone love me? Yeah. Will someone be my friend? And to walk into that room all those years ago and to feel like I don't go to this school, I don't know these kids, but we fit. And that was a hallmark of Young Life that I believe years and years later across the country, you can have a Young Life club in Victoria or in Oakville or in Calgary, and kids feel like they fit.
Everybody's first felt need, belonging.
Yes, absolutely.
And you mentioned the camp. I mean, no wonder the pictures were wooing you, because there's not one location that these kids go to that isn't gorgeous.
No, it's true. The Rockridge Canyon, it's our camp, and I love it says, for the best week of their lives. And it truly was for Michael and I when we went as kids. So Rockridge Canyon was built in 2004, opened so 11 years later. 2,000 kids a week are at this place. And it's fabulous. I mean, I'm not going to take you through the whole book, Moira, but it's it really is something
God's
else.
country. Lift up a little bit higher. Let me
Sure.
do it for you. Here we are. Look at that. Okay, take me there. Take me there.
Absolutely. Anytime. Next summer.
Oh.
So 2,000 kids, and for years we've taken kids from Ontario, flown them across the country to this. Very expensive, but you know, it was great for us in terms of building our momentum here to be able to have a place where we could take kids. What do they say about Young Life camps? Fun, adventure, risk, and a chance to explore significance. The biggest thing, a chance to unplug for a week, for kids to get away from their noisy, cluttered environment and be in an incredible setting. There's about 25 of these properties across North America, each magnificent and designed specifically for teenagers.
Well, I got a report from Brent Klink, who's Young Life Southern Ontario Region Director, and they've just taken a bus trip.
That's true.
Road trip, pardon me. And here we go. There's the group, local group here, and wholesome fun.
It's so great to, I think so many times we say, just let them be kids. Teenagers don't often get a chance to be kids.
Now, you're a dad.
I am.
By the way, you met your wife at a Young Life camp.
Yes.
The blessings just ripple in your life. Your kids, 3 boys, 21, 18, and 15. You are
right in the middle, yes.
The zone. Okay, so this is just for fun. Dr. Stuart Goldman, Director of Psychiatric Education at Children's Hospital in Boston, he said, it's the task of the teenager to fire their parents and then rehire them years later, but as consultants rather than managers. How are you finding it?
I'm sure I've been fired many times already, and there's 3 of them to alternate.
You've got a whole team there.
Yes.
Are they involved in Young Life?
Yes, they've been very involved. So Joel, our oldest, is now at Western Ontario University, but when he was at Abbey Park, we started the Young Life Club there in 2008. And then Stephen was all involved through high school, and Aiden was on that road trip just last weekend.
Well, anyone who knows about Young Life just longs that it would be in every high school.
Sure.
We've got a long way to go.
Yes.
My kids missed out, but we're going to take a look at some of the fun we're talking about in this video clip. So let's venture into Young Life.
Young Life is concerned adults moving into the teenage culture.
We are the arm of the church to reach out to kids who would never come to church.
We do that by going where they are.
We enter into kids' worlds.
We invest hundreds and hundreds of hours developing relationships
In the hopes of building trust, having fun.
We'll go wherever kids happen to be.
We have been going to field hockey games, we have been going to basketball games.
Just walking with them through life.
We don't criticize them, we don't judge them, we just accept them for who they are.
Going to where kids are is not something you do once a week or once a month. It's something that happens day in and day out.
And that's what I teach my leaders. And they go, well, it was bad. Well, show up again. And you keep showing up and you're consistent.
Because consistency and faithfulness will lead to trust. And it's only when trust is built that we have gained a hearing with the kid to share with them the greatest news in the world.
We have Young Life leaders waiting in the wings for our next half hour. They're going to be talking about the issues they see our young people dealing with amongst those kids that they are there for in the high schools. Who comes alongside and what kind of time commitments involved? Let's do a little recruiting here.
Oh,
David?
Sure. Thank you. Well, our volunteer leaders are the heroes and the backbone of Young Life. We're a paid organization in that we have staff around the country, but the staff's primary job is to recruit and train volunteer leaders who will step out of their world and into the world of kids. So much of what you saw in the video is leaders leaving the comfort of their world just to go where kids are. We don't wait for kids to clean up, grow up, or show up. I love that line. That we go into their world. And so volunteer leaders give 10 to 15 hours a week.
Some people open their homes.
Oh, yeah. So the Young Life Club is always in a parent's home of one of the students in the school. And so it's not like I'm going to a church building or a community hall. No, I'm going over to Aiden's house for club tonight. That's how it looks. And 30 to 40 kids. There's 85 clubs across our country right now, and here in Ontario, currently 11 clubs, and we hope by the end of this calendar year there'll be 18 of those clubs. And we're continually trying to find volunteer leaders. And the big one is, I think this year we'll have 100 volunteer leaders. And if you figure a volunteer leader gives 10 to 15 hours a week, and we have 100 of them mentoring and loving kids, that's a lot going on. But to get into these new communities, not just volunteer leaders, we need local adults in a town like you and Richard in Burlington when we started here 11 years ago, who say, no, this ministry is important. We're an arm of the church. We're not the youth group in the church, but we're more like a missions outreach of the church. And for people in a community to say, this is our town, and we love kids, and we want kids to have the opportunity to have adult role models and mentoring, and to have a chance to hear the greatest message in the world, the love of God through Jesus Christ.
So good. All good. And we're going to meet some of those role models in the next half hour as we probe more into Young Life. And it's so important, you know, they say that the emotional roller coaster that some of the kids put their parents on is just a reflection of what's going on in their lives, and we can make a difference. Younglife.ca?
Yes.
If you want to find out more, and again, stay tuned for the next half hour. David, thank you.
I enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Good to get to know you more.
Yes.